Nevada high schoolers are working to improve health in public schools across the state. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with how local legislators are helping to make that happen.
Today was Solidarity Sunday at Lincoln Park in Pittsburgh. We'll tell you about the effort to fight homelessness in the area. The trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is set to begin Monday. We'll tell you why some feel it could be one of the highest profile criminal cases in recent memory.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Stress and the use of vaping products are commonly found among high school students, and many are looking to improve this. This is the late edition of the KOAM News at 10. I'm Chris Warner. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with students in Nevada who worked with a local lawmaker to develop bills on these issues.
Last October, students from Nevada High School sat down with Missouri Representative Patricia Pike to address issues commonly faced by students. Upon hearing those issues, the representative came up with bills that will be presented in the upcoming weeks. Now, the students who helped conceive the bills will testify at the state capitol. We spoke with Representative Pike about these bills, and she sent a statement that reads in part, "It has been an honor to work with these young people to identify legislation that will make a positive impact for our Missouri students." Lucas Connor, a representative from Healthy Nevada, emphasizes the importance of young people gaining an interest in politics.
Seeing people that you know go up and testify is really important too, because that allows them to say, these people are doing this and they're my best friends, so I could go do this too.
The students will be testifying on 2 bills. One on stress and suicide prevention, and the other on the effects of vaping. Eden Fisher, who will be speaking at the state capitol on a bill that would require training in youth suicide prevention and stress management strategies, says teachers need to be aware of concerning signs in students.
We think that it would be best for teachers to know how to help students with that, and we think that if they are trained with that and equipped with knowing how to do that, they will we'll see suicide rates go down and substance abuse rates go down.
That's where the bill, which would require school districts to educate students on the negative effects of vape and tobacco products in their drug education curriculum, comes in. Cody Jenkins, who will be testifying on this bill, says too many young people are vaping and need to know the real dangers that come with it.
We should help students try to eliminate this stress through much more healthy methods. And we should also educate students that these unhealthy methods are not a safe alternative. We need to let them know that these are very harmful to our bodies. They're very harmful to our mental states.
Now, the students will have an opportunity to speak on these issues to state legislators, showing you're never too young to take a stand. In Nevada, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Now on Tuesday, the students will be speaking on the bill about stress and suicide prevention. The second bill on vaping's hearing is yet to be scheduled. A Chanute woman is dead after a shooting in Topeka. The Topeka police say 39-year-old Christy Rodriguez of Chanute died after she and 2 others were shot near Southeast 31st Street and Adams in Topeka on Friday night. One of the 2 was transported to a local hospital with life-threatening injuries. The other was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Topeka police say they're looking for 2 people of interest in the case. 28-year-old Devonta Miller of Topeka and 21-year-old Harley Borders of Marysville. TPD officials say if anyone knows what happened or where to find Miller and Borders, to contact the Shawnee County Crime Stoppers at 785-234-0007. Something we do habitually at this time every night is we turn to Nick Kelly for the latest on the forecast, and it was another pretty nice day.
Yeah, nothing to track other than blue skies throughout the entire day, Chris, and we took advantage of it to get temperatures to up. Not quite to 61 like I was expecting. Joplin Region will hit a high of 59 after we started cold, actually, in the upper 30s, but some areas did sneak into the lower 60s this afternoon. But we are now beginning to see our southerly wind pick up as an area of high pressure starts to scoot along to the east, and our next storm system to the west starts to strengthen before it moves on in. That strengthening system brings in a stronger wind tomorrow with dry dry air and mild temperatures still in place. That's why many of us have to deal with fire weather watches and red flag warnings until 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So while tomorrow may look nice, you'll want to hold off on any outdoor burning, even though we start cool in the morning. Lows drop to 44, but shooting to 71 for the afternoon with a south wind gusting to 35 at times during the afternoon. We'll see when our next chance for rain will work in to help mitigate some of this dry weather coming up in a bit, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. Pittsburgh's Lincoln Park was set up to help out less fortunate four-staters today. The Plan for Pittsburgh group threw an event called Solidarity Sunday, which they described as a free store. Visitors were encouraged to take what they need and offer what they can, but there was more to the event than just that. There was also a community barbecue and picnic and even live music later in the day. They're attempting to set up a floating homeless shelter in Pittsburgh to keep people from sleeping outdoors and to also help them with tornado season approaching.
There's this very pervasive narrative in our society that poor people are poor because they have a lack of character or they've done something wrong. We don't believe that. At the Plan for Pittsburgh, we believe that poverty is a lack of cash, not a lack of character. So we want to really just bring people out here so that we can talk about the different issues that we need to address in our area.
The Plan for Pittsburgh also says they're attempting to set up a floating homeless shelter again to help keep people safe through this season. The murder and manslaughter trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is set to begin Monday, and it's likely to be one of the highest profile criminal cases in recent memory. CBS News correspondent Nancy Chen has a preview from New York.
Activists gathered for a rally outside the Minneapolis courthouse on the eve of opening arguments in former officer Derek Chauvin's murder trial. Chauvin faces second and third-degree murder and manslaughter charges in the Memorial Day killing of George Floyd. Bystander video of Chauvin's knee on Floyd's neck for about 9 minutes sparked widespread outrage, setting off months of protests and a national reckoning on race and social justice.
There was so much turmoil last summer, but it was a long time in the making. We had been letting city officials know that things were reaching a boiling point.
The 12-member jury consists of 6 people who are white, 4 who are black, and 2 who identify as multiracial. 7 are women, 5 are men. The judge is allowing the trial to be broadcast and live streamed with public interest high after Floyd's death prompted an outcry for police reform. Community activist Antonia Williams is collecting petition signatures calling for a charter amendment to replace the Minneapolis Police Department with a new Department of Public Safety.
We're just one arm, that is out here trying to create change and get away from a system that is clearly not working in our best interest.
In the courtroom, the jury box was removed as a COVID-19 precaution. Jurors will sit at individual socially distanced desks, and plexiglass will surround anyone who is speaking. The trial is expected to last about 4 weeks. Nancy Chen, CBS News.
Now, during jury selection, the city of Minneapolis reached a $27 million civil settlement with George Floyd's estate. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Technician Howard Barnes served with the Army in Europe and Germany during World War II. He was awarded the Bronze Star and a Purple Heart. His hometown, Columbus. We are proud to recognize Technician Howard Barnes, tonight's four-state hero. And of course, remember to learn more about other heroes or nominate one of your own. Just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at our top stories and a quick check of the forecast on the KOAM News at 10. Still ahead, we'll hear from Missouri's Director of Health and Senior Services, Dr. Randall Williams, about the pandemic in the state. Tonight, we continue connecting communities with their local and state leaders. We had an opportunity to speak with Dr. Randall Williams, the director of the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. We asked him when it might be possible to return to normal in Missouri. Well, he says that'll depend on when we reach herd immunity, which he's hopeful will be this July. But he says there are other factors that will be taken into account.
It'll be clinical judgment. There won't be one metric. We'll look at the overall health. I practiced for 30 years, and after surgery, people always want to know when they could go home. And I would say, well, we're going to look at a lot of things. Do you have a fever? Are you eating? Can you walk? Are things, can you ambulate? And so we'll kind of do the similar thing. We'll look at all of our different variables and make decisions on those. We also ask local communities that have put into place maybe ordinances or policies to talk with their local providers as we get into June and see what makes sense to relax on those.
Now, some of that reopening is taking into consideration the UK variant of the coronavirus. Now, Dr. Williams says Dr. Anthony Fauci explained that they believe the variant accounts for 30% of all the active coronavirus cases in the U.S. Dr. Williams says he agrees and believes that's the case here in Missouri, that about 30% of the active cases in the state are the variant, which he does have concerns about.
We think that it is more infectious, it causes more sickness, it's probably more deadly. So at this moment in time, even with the warm weather and the Purple Martins are coming back and the Cardinals and the Royals are getting ready to play, it's more important than ever to social distance and wear a mask if you can't social distance, and wash your hands. And if you have to congregate, try to be congregating outside as opposed to inside.
And over the past year, the amount of things that have been learned about the coronavirus has increased exponentially. And experts continue to learn more about the virus. And that also means that there's time to look back at what we've learned and how we could have acted differently when the pandemic began. Now, Dr. Williams says there are things that he and other health officials know about the virus now that they wish they would have known back in February of last year.
Europe and the United States have had higher death rates. And that's just something that I don't think we all saw back in February. We kind of perceived it more like the flu. So it's not that I would have changed anything necessarily, but that's clearly one thing that I and about everybody else I know didn't realize would be a characteristic of this particular novel emerging virus.
Nick Kelly is up next with his complete forecast, and a little later on the KOAM News at 10, the latest on what became a hostage situation in an Oklahoma detention center.
It was nice to wrap up this weekend on the quiet note, but behind our last cold front that came through and gave a few of you some thunderstorms yesterday, we did trend a little cooler, but we will see temperatures bouncing back to mild territory throughout pretty much of the week ahead of us. Can't deny, though, how beautiful it looked from start to finish from Indigo Sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri. In fact, the entire area enjoyed mostly sunny skies. Maybe a little bit of fade cloud cover clipping us in our northeastern counties from cloud cover out near Kansas City. That was all about it in terms of what to track for today. But tomorrow, I'm tracking a mild day, a dry day, and a windy day. Those three factors leading the red flag warnings for much of southeast Kansas until 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And everybody else, fire weather watches, which is a step below a red flag warning. So no matter which of the two you fall under, tomorrow's not looking like a good day for any outdoor burning until we can try to get some better moisture in here by Tuesday. In the meantime, though, we're at 47 in Joplin, a south breeze at 6, giving us a bit of a wind chill, making it feel like 44 degrees outside. We're sitting at 50 in Pittsburgh. Everybody else in the Joplin metro, mid to upper 40s, between 46 and 48. Across the entire area, much of the same once you hop outside of the metro, upper 40s to lower 50s. And you see how that southeast breeze is starting to kick in. That's going to crank up a little more tonight and keep us mainly in the mid 40s in terms of overnight lows. A lot better than the 30s we started this morning out with. The Skywatch storm tracker again, nothing here today, not much across the Central Plains for today as a matter of fact, thanks to high pressure scooting along just to our south. Our last cold front ready to work into the Atlantic while we wait for our next cold front to roll in. But before it gets here, this storm system is going to strengthen as a high shifts to the east as well. Both of these will really pull into southerly wind tomorrow, making for a breezy day. We'll wait until this upper low, however, sitting in southwestern Canada, starts to skirt along. That will eventually push a cold front our way on Tuesday. That's when we could try to get some better moisture in here to bring in some rain and thunderstorm chances. In the meantime, though, we are dry for the rest of the night, dry for much of the day tomorrow, including our cool start in the morning, even with that south breeze in place at about, let's say, 5 to 15 miles per hour. It keeps us in the mid 40s. Most of us starting the day around 44 degrees. Going throughout the day tomorrow, that south wind just keeps on cranking. 10 to 20 by lunchtime, 15 to 25 in the afternoon, pushing afternoon highs near 71 in Joplin. In fact, everyone's fair game to go back into the lower 70s all across the region with sunny skies for tomorrow. But those winds, again, that's going to be a big factor for tomorrow. With relative humidity values between 25 and 35%, that's a lot of dry air on its own in place. These southerly winds at 20 to 30 during the afternoon, and we're not even talking gusts pushing near 40 miles per hour. This is not looking like a good day for any outdoor burning. Even though it looks nice for Monday, we'll see our next storm system roll in on Tuesday. While the main upper low passes to our north, at the surface, that cold front could try to bring in some scattered rain and storms, mainly late Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, into Wednesday morning. I think much of Tuesday we can get by on a dry note. But behind that front, we go from 65 tomorrow, mid-50s Wednesday and Thursday. So far, Easter holiday weekend, Chris, I'm just seeing some rain chances Saturday morning. Otherwise, we're mild with highs in the mid to upper 60s.
It's looking like a much more spring-like forecast, and that's what I really like. I love the springtime.
Yeah, so far, fingers crossed, with a pretty good-looking Easter Sunday on tap.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, Missouri Southern Soccer hosts Evangel. The women are fresh off an overtime upset win. Plus, Crowder baseball is back on the field, going for the series sweep over Three Rivers.
The Missouri Southern women's soccer team plays host to Evangel this afternoon. Southern is coming off a huge overtime win over 8th-ranked Central Missouri. This is the first ever matchup between the two schools. Southern on the attack. Here's the cross. First shot is blocked. Mackenzie Schultz is there to put it in the back of the net. Lions take a 1-0 lead. Then, here's a nice shot by Bailey Belcher. Lions had 18 shots on goal in the game. Later in the first half, it's tied up. Maya Greenquist takes her space. Long shot into the top corner. Greenquist scores 2 today. Missouri Southern beats Evangel 3-1. PSU baseball finishes up their road series with Central Oklahoma. The conference opponents split Saturday's doubleheader. PSU wins the final game of the series 10-5. The Gorillas drive in 4 runs in the 9th to seal the deal. Garrett McGowan has another big day with 2 runs, 2 hits, and 2 RBI. Crowder baseball is back on the field today for another doubleheader against Three Rivers. Crowder took both games on Saturday. The Rough Riders aiming to stay hot. Here's Frankie Cercello. Gets it through. Coming home from second, Landry Wilkerson. 4-0 Rough Riders after 3. Three Rivers in the 5th, Cade Cancilla with a hit. Diving to make the play but can't. Andrew Lara will score. Raiders will take their first lead of the game. Tie game headed into the bottom of the 8th. Rough Riders with a chance to win it. Trey Harris pops it up to left field. Chaz Poppy takes off for home. That will be enough. Crowder wins it 7-6. In Game 2, Crowder back to their dominating ways. They win 13-1. Landry Wilkerson has 5 RBI. The Rough Riders sweep the series against Three Rivers, improving their record to 23-4 and their win streak to 15 games. The Lady Riders also in action today, but on the road against Three Rivers. Crowder takes Game 1 9-5. Molly Splangler and Kayla Puckett, both with 2 RBI. They go on to split the doubleheader, falling in Game 2 9-6. The NEO football team kicked off their season on Saturday. After leading 10-0 in the first quarter, the Norsemen couldn't get any more offense going. Trinity Valley, though, found their rhythm, scoring 29 unanswered points for a final score of 29-10. It was the Norsemen's first game under head coach Zach Crissup. Crissup says his team has a lot to learn and wants to learn.
If I tell anybody anything with this group, I feel like we're going to get so much better in between now and the next game. And then between that game and the next game, because our kids want to learn and they want to get better. And they're going to put the work in and the effort in. And I'm excited about that.
It's also opening weekend for Fort Scott football. They travel to Highland for their first game. Fort Scott falls to Highland 30-14. Arkansas hit the floor against Oral Roberts on Saturday in the Sweet 16. The Razorbacks turned things around in the second half, getting by the Golden Eagles 72-70. Jalen Tate scores the team-high 22 points. Arkansas moves to the Elite Eight to face number 1 seeded Baylor tomorrow night.
Really proud of our team, especially in the second half with their effort. We've been down now in 3 games and found a way to come back, regrouped again at halftime, changed up our defense a little bit more where we wanted to trap and leave certain players. Give Oral Roberts a ton of credit. I thought they played really, really well.
That's it for sports. We'll be right back with more news.
Well, severe storms have led to excessive heavy rainfall, and over in the Music City, heavy rain has sparked flash flood warnings. A Walmart parking lot in South Nashville looked more like a lake after extremely heavy downpours this weekend. Some cars in the lot were barely visible, buried under the pool of water as the record-breaking rainfall hit nearly 6 inches in Nashville. It's the largest one-day accumulation ever for the month of March, and the 4th largest single-day total in the city's history. Severe weather also hit multiple counties early into the morning, shutting down roadways and prompting water rescues. An inmate is dead, and an Oklahoma City corrections officer is in the hospital after that officer was held hostage at the Oklahoma County Detention Center on Saturday. Now, officials say the incident occurred on the 10th floor of the Oklahoma County Detention Center. The corrections officer was delivering medication when an inmate grabbed his keys and then tied the officer up.
Now, what transpired, they go and identify the suspect, they try to de-escalate, and then the suspect has, the detention officer in a hostage position, something held to his neck, and shots were fired, lethal force was taken, and the suspect was shot on scene.
There's still no word on the officer's condition, but according to the Associated Press, the Oklahoma City police chief said he was thankful the officer wasn't more seriously injured. We've got a final check of that forecast next. Nick Kelly joining us now. The final check of that forecast.
We're keeping things quiet and at least looking nice for tomorrow, Chris, but a windy day, a mild day, and a dry day. Not good for any outdoor burning with highs near 71. Some moisture in on Tuesday and Wednesday could bring in some thunderstorm chances in here. Scattered, nothing too crazy, but that cold front will knock us to 65 Tuesday, mid-50s for the middle of the week. Unfortunately, Chris, I'm seeing us staying mild, thankfully, for our Easter weekend coming up.
I really enjoy that forecast, and I really enjoyed the spring weather. Nick, thank you so much. And that is our time for now. Our next news time is 5 a.m. with the KOAM Morning News. And, of course, KOAM News is always on with the KOAM News Now app and online at KOAMNewsNow.com. Thanks for making us part of your night.